Welcome to another episode of the GNPS. It's your boy, General Ginelia. Whatever. Well, you'll get used to this. Sitting on my left, it's my co-host. He goes by the name of Kevin.
7.
And then sitting across us is our next guest for the next episode. He goes by the name of Panda.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
How you guys?
Welcome.
Easy.
Well, let's get this out the way real quick before we go too far. Before you and Kevin start throwing shit past me. You and Kevin are bros.
Yes.
It's out there, so you know. As soon as they got stories in common, don't be like, oh shit, they leaving this nigga out.
I don't know this guy, man.
Yeah,
We just met today, bro.
See this guy across.
We met in the car.
You just met him outside. You just met him outside.
He escorted me in, so hey.
Otherwise, so seriously now, dog. Who is Panda? Where you from?
Okay, Panda. Panda is a nickname. Let's start there. My real name is Andakwamnandi. I am a Xhosa man from the Eastern Cape.
Wow! Shout out to the Eastern Cape.
Shout to East.
I was born here in Durban actually.
Yeah.
Go 94, and then my mom shipped
Shit,
me to
you
the
young,
EC.
bro. I'm
Oh
sorry.
wait, I feel old, man.
Well, you're not young. You're younger than me.
Oh.
We're not sure about that anyway.
Born
It's not-
free.
It's not a contest.
Shout out my deeps. So yeah, I was born in 94.
Yeah.
I went to the Eastern Cape like 2 years later to live there with my grands. And then ndafunda khona. And then some 5 years later, this home, can't point him now, he's off camera. My cousin, he was born 5 years later. So I spent some time with him. And then when I was in grade 5, yes, I was done with Mthatha. That's why I grew up in Mthatha. So upon grade 5, I left Mthatha, came here to Durban, and then I stayed with my mom. Ndafunda, I went to high school at DHS, name dropping, DHS.
We don't mind.
And then, done with DHS, and then I lived life, went to varsity. Still in that chain, but yeah, no, we're getting out. So yeah.
So right now you go as a fashion designer.
Me?
What are you?
No, I'm a photographer.
See, that's why you left that out.
Literally, I did. Actually.
So, how long have you been doing photography?
I've been doing photography for since 2014.
Yeah.
15, 16, 17. So it's like 4 or 5 years now.
And what got you into photography?
I've always liked taking photos. I liked watching movies, but I just liked watching how movies were made, how a movie is shot. That's what interested me. So I asked my mom for a camera. She kept stalling for like 2 years because I think she wasn't serious, or she didn't think I was serious. She was like, this boy wants a camera. What's he going to do with the camera?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. She was like, pass your school. I'm like, all right, cool. Did that. And then she got me my camera. And then I just took photos ever since. And the rest is history, like they say.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, you come from a typical black background. I mean, I've had a few people come on here. And one thing that I've noticed that amongst the black community, when people are interested, whether it's fashion design, photography, a graffiti artist, or you're a musician, anything within the arts space, it's shunned upon in our community. People look down upon such practice, purely, mainly because we believe that you can't make money out of that.
True.
So how did you overcome, all those stereotypes? Because I think coming from a black background, typical South African black background, you would have faced such challenges. If not, then it would be nice for you to elaborate how you managed to avoid that, or what helped for you to avoid that.
All right, no, I can tell you my story, and then you can tell me
Yeah.
All right.
I love stories, bro. That's why
wait.
you're here.
So with the cab ride, it was more of like, because vele with black families, for them to finally trust that you are doing proper work, you need to come with some form of return for them to see that, oh, okay, this kid is doing something. But for me, I did photography more of as a hobby because my mom was focused on me doing my studies and I never went out that much. So my photography was my hobby besides studying. I liked it a lot. I researched it and then I ended up being good at it. And then that's when I was like, oh, okay, so I can make this my form of income. So I spoke to my mom about that. And she was like, Ish, how serious are you about this photography? Because if you are becoming more serious with it, it's going to hinder your schoolwork. And I'm like, okay, no, you're right. Because she won't allow me to work and take photos. And school. So I had to find a balance within that of doing good in school and also finding a work that will provide a stable income. You see, so you can at least find a way to make your way without needing your parents' help.
Okay, so
when it comes to your craft.
You're basically like self-employed.
Yeah, basically. That's what I
And
like to call it.
And how has it been, working independently as a photographer? How is it going?
It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, because you learn every day about that you meet. You meet people through photography. You meet people in general, and then you end up doing photography with them. So in that, you learn like how people operate. Yeah, well.
Your mother didn't have any aspirations of her own for you that she had in mind?
Yeah, she wanted me to... Well, she actually... Luckily, my mom always supported my dreams.
Yeah.
Whatever I told her, she'd be like, oh, okay, no, if you work hard enough, you can do that. I remember as a kid, she would ask me all the time what I want to be, and I'd be like, okay, one day I want to be a soccer player. She'd be like, oh, okay, cool, you can do that. And then I was like, yeah, one day I want to be an astronaut. And she was like, hey, I don't know how you can do that, but if you want to, okay, cool.
I'm sure her face flipped.
They were like, what? You said you want to be a soccer player? And I'm like, no, I changed it. So she was always supportive about what I want to do. Yeah. And I lost your question. Can you please repeat?
Well, basically, you were just explaining how it has been for you working as an independent photographer.
Yes, and my mom wanted any achievements for me. Yes. What she wanted me, actually, she just wants me to get my degree, because I'm studying criminal psychology.
Whoa.
So yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So she wants me to do that. Okay, yeah, let's backtrack there.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm studying criminal psychology. Yeah, it's a mixture.
That's interesting. No. It's interesting for me because I've never met a black dude who studies those kind of things. The only time a black man meets criminal psychology is when
he is the criminal. But criminology is pretty popular now in the schools.
Yeah, it is. It's a growing field.
More of these investigative sciences. Yeah.
So is it like some CSI type of shit?
Literally, there's different fields. Yeah. The CSI type shit is the forensics part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's when, for example, if a crime scene were to happen right now, before anything happens, they have to look at forensics.
Yeah, so let's just say, I don't know, Kevin chokes with some water.
Chokes on some water.
You're all suspects.
Exactly, yes, that's what I'm saying. Not that I want Kevin to choke.
Who served the water?
Key question.
Who served the water?
Where's the water coming from?
It's the guys behind the cameras.
It's not us, guys. So it is that. What happens with a forensic criminologist is...
Yeah, you were explaining if let's say there's a crime scene now.
Yeah, there's a crime scene now. For example, let's say Kevin chokes on the water.
Yeah.
And dies.
And obviously we can't explain what happened.
Yeah, like what happened. We were just talking and then I don't know what happened. Yeah. So if that happens, investigators come in, they question us and they take us away. They look at the evidence, which is probably this water bottle. They'll be like, okay, what water is inside this water bottle? Is it clean? Is it pH water? Secondly, who was serving this guy water? Thirdly, who was inside the premises at these amount of times? And then they look at his body, toxicology. Was he drunk? Was he high? Does he have allergies? things like that are combined, and then a case is put together, and then
Where does criminal psychology come in?
The psychology part about it is you have another person, a criminal psychologist, because criminology is very broad. Criminal psychologists now will come and sit down and analyze every single one of us, interview us, talk to us,
our psychological state.
thought process, how you act. If I'm asking you this, will you look this way? Will you look that way? If I do this, if I say this, how will you act?
So we got shit like that here in SA?
Actually, it's like there's only like I researched this about a couple years ago. There's only between 2 and 5 registered criminal psychologists in South Africa.
Oh shit, that's why they haven't found.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Everybody who's committed a crime.
I nearly said something.
Those guys are busy.
So yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, people have died and people haven't been caught.
But another thing is this thing takes a lot of time. Like CSI makes it happen in like seconds.
An episode.
Yeah, in an episode. In reality, these things take years.
Yeah, I know. If you send a blood sample to the labs,
you have to wait.
good luck with that.
You have to wait.
Yeah, I mean,
But rather take your time and be sure than just
make a rash decision.
decision. That's what I rate.
Oh, okay. So you said you where are you now with this degree?
What level? Oh, I'm 3rd year.
Yeah, okay. How many years?
It's a 4-year shandis. So next year will be my last year.
Oh, okay. And then who hires you after that?
After that, you can either go private or you can go government.
Oh,
When you go private, you make up your own firm, get your own space, work on your own terms. Government, you have to find jobs in the government sector and work your way through there.
So privately, who you working with? Do you work with the lawyers or who hires you? Who are your clients?
Okay, who hires me is the police will hire me if there's a case going on. The police will be like, okay, we need to assign a key witness, that's what they call it, a key witness to this case.
Okay.
So then, depending on who committed the crime, either the offender or the defense will hire me to either back up the story or to find the story. So yeah, that's what happens between the defense and the offenders.
So wait, you're telling me if, let's say, for some reason, I get accused for the water that Kevin drank, and now I'm in court, and I'm on trial, and I'm the suspect.
Okay.
I can call someone like you to come and plead my case or provide evidence to plead.
In that case, I will come with the police. So I won't be on your side in this case.
So I
am the one interrogating you. I'm interrogating you in this case.
Oh.
So I'm like, Ikse, why did this man die in your presence, but you're alive? You drank the same water. What's going on? Yeah. So that's my job, to interview you.
Okay. I'll probably say that nigga was what music is king last night? I don't know what he had.
Didn't even hit me up.
Are you sure he's dead? It's probably a hangover.
Well, funny enough, this morning, I was meeting up with a friend of mine to give him a USB. So I'm walking down the hill at my place.
Yeah, that's a big ass. Don't ask me how I know. Well,
you know that hill?
We tried to come and get you the other day.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way,
that
happens so many times, right? No, the thing is, I wasn't available that day. That's a story for another day.
1 and 2. That's when I went, I was like, yo, this is a nice training spot.
It is.
Yeah, people train there like all the time.
It's actually the Rocky Hill. It's the same hill that Rocky,
Yeah, literally.
trained up.
You can shoot a young Rocky trailer there. Rocky in Africa.
Most definitely.
There's a hill and there's stairs, so best of both.
Doug, and then there's still a view at the top.
And there's a view we celebrate. Yeah.
You can see the whole city.
You can. It's the best view ever.
Yeah. Well, we're shifting away now.
Yes, what do we say again?
Kevin, see, that's why he has to choke with the water.
We're talking about Kevin being hungover. There's a story.
Yeah.
On my way to give a homie a USB.
Yeah.
there was like a homeless guy like passed out on the floor, like on the grass. Ne? And I'm like, oh shit, give this guy a USB. And then some guy comes up to me and says, hey, is this guy alright? I'm like, I don't know, like, I just got here, like, let's check on him. And then you check on him and the guy's like, oh yeah, no, I know this guy. Gives me his name and whatnot. And then the guy thought he was dead. And then we chill for a while.
You thought he was dead?
He thought he was dead. I'm like, nah, guy can't just somehow turn up dead on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Next to a police station, mind you.
That's convenient.
That's highly convenient.
So yeah, no, we waited for the guy, some kulumisa, and the guy woke up. And then yeah, that was just a sidetrack I had. So.
I probably had his ass beaten. That's how the station.
Yeah, it took him a while to wake
Just
up.
left him there.
So let's address the elephant in the room. How do you know Kevin?
Yo, I know Kevin.
Oh, how does Kevin know you?
Was it through varsity?
Yeah, I would say it's through Howard College, bro.
Yeah, I would
We
say
both
it's through Howard.
Went to Howard College. I don't actually remember how we met.
The first communication.
I actually also think it could be through like-minded people, other artists, and
Yes.
just fellow friends that we all knew. Yeah, that we both know in common.
I'll drop
Mutual friends, yeah, I guess.
I'll drop a timeline. I think it was around that time you had your party.
Oh, Kevin used to host parties?
I used to have What party is this?
No, I'm joking, guys.
You came to my party, I didn't know you.
No, I wasn't there. That's the thing. It was your birthday, so.
The nigga does throw parties.
No, he didn't throw a party.
Oh.
It was his birthday, and then people like had a braai for him.
You know, I never had
I was
a party.
invited, but I never
I've
came.
never had a party. Ever.
Oh, so you didn't come?
No, that's what I was getting at. Like, I never came because I didn't know you that time.
Oh.
No.
You've never had a party?
Never. Never.
Hosted
ever.
one or.
Never had a party in my name.
No,
2020 is the year
I
then.
don't but hosting a party is a mission, guys.
Yeah.
From my
It's
experience.
a lot of work.
Host the
Nah,
cleanup afterwards.
It just depends. It just really depends on
people
the
throw
crowd,
up.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Man.
Damn.
They'll burn the couches. Even if it's wood, they'll find something to break. Something breaks. When it's a party, it's like it's a party rule.
Yeah,
Somebody
true.
gotta-
Something has
It
to
ain't
break.
a party until somebody breaks.
And the
something.
first thing that breaks is usually a bottle.
Yeah,
And then it's like, whoa, everyone even cheers.
yeah,
Whoa.
and the last thing that breaks.
Eish.
Oh, shit. I don't want to say it.
I also had something weird in mind. I was like, whoa.
I'll keep quiet.
I was gonna say it's the party. I don't know what you got. That's the last thing to break.
That
at the
definitely was
party.
not what I was thinking. But those are old school parties, you know.
We
Those-
deviating, man. Oh, shit, man. That's a sidetrack. What do
Watch
you?
her crying.
What do you? What's your like? I mean, photography in general here in Africa. Let's just be bold. What's your take? What's the direction? Are we in line with what's happening in the rest of the world? Because I mean, it's a fact. As far as when it comes to any tech stuff, because most of the tech comes from outside of this continent.
True.
So obviously we see from that side. So if you look at like photography in Africa, I don't want to streamline it any further than that, but like in Africa, where do you think we are in terms of how we utilize photography, or how many people are participating in photography, and how are we utilizing photography in compared to the rest of the world?
Well, I think actually, this is my perception. Photography in Africa is very like up there in my perception, like I said. Because I mean, like, it's very rich. If you look at African photos, they're very rich in texture, in color, in everything. You see there's emotion in the photos. There's almost like you can see yourself being there in African photos. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, because we are African.
Because we are,
yeah,
because
we understand.
And we know
the
our
capture.
surroundings, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, I think also there's a lot of potential. I think photography in Africa, besides Asia, or probably with Asia, can be like the best places in the world for photography because of the culture those two places have, and because there's so much to capture. I think. Because, I mean, there's a lot of diversity in Africa. Even though majority is black people, but there's a lot of diversity in Africa.
Okay. Let's
So,
bring
yeah.
it closer to
And-
home now.
Oh,
sorry,
and
you
to
go
add,
first.
I think there's also there's a lot of different types of photography. What I've seen
That's true.
is here in Africa, there's a lot of wildlife photography, and there's a lot of like I don't know what you would call when you go and shoot in like rural areas.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you mean, but there's more rustic photos, the rustic-looking photos.
Yeah, I
But
feel
I
like
don't know the term as well.
in terms of the ones that I usually see in galleries, like beside the ones from sort of artists that we know and photographers that we know, from what I've seen in like big high profile galleries, it's mainly like the wildlife photography
Yeah.
and the photographing of people in the rural space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, do you
kids,
know
yeah.
why that is? I was told, I don't know how to put this in proper words. I was told that's because that's what the sellers, I mean the buyers want. They want to see like what they don't feel. For example, that photo will probably sell for millions to a rich millionaire of someone in the rural areas because they want to know what it feels like or what it looks like to be poor and to see poor people in the rurals because they don't know what that feels like.
That's
Because they're
interesting.
always, because they live in their own bubble, so they don't know how.
But now let's get here. This is my niche. This is my market. What according to you are African, when I'm talking about black Africans, are we doing enough to benefit directly through photography in terms of the content that they for one to capture as a photographer, such as what we're talking about, people going out to rural spaces and documenting that type of life or the kind of life or the people that are living there. According to you, are we as the black community or the black community of black photographers doing enough to take advantage of that?
I'll say they are not as a collective. I think as black people, we need to collect and come together more often. As a black community, never mind black men and photographers, as a community, we need to come together, first and foremost. And then, because we're stronger together than anything. If you look at everywhere else, if you look at the economies, like China, Japan, America, they are like together. They are unity. So I think we need that. Once we unify ourselves and empower our own selves, then I think we can go far in terms of taking our work to the further places and benefiting from our work. Rather than having someone sell it for us, we can sell it ourselves and benefit ourselves. That's what I think.
Do you know any? Can you name any famous black photographers or African?
African photography? No, because what I do, I actually follow like African companies, not the actual people.
Or more of those journalistic. Okay.
yes.
I've got a name I can throw for you guys and you guys over there to go check out. There's a guy goes by the name of on Instagram is TC Maila. I'll just spell it out.
Sounds familiar though, yes.
The guy he basically documents like rural type of life, but like in Lesotho.
Okay.
Up there in the mountains, and they actually had this TC Maila. It's TC _ MAILA. Yeah.
Maila.
Yeah, here's some of his work.
Oh yeah, can we check it out?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we're gonna try and grab a picture, but oh shit, we're going into trouble. But you can go check out his work. Shout out to TC Maila.
Also, I feel like someone who's really buzzing now and has been is Trevor Sturman.
Yes, Trevor, yes.
Trevor.
He started as a photographer.
Is
now
he a journalist or is he a photographer? I don't know. I don't actually know his title.
When I first followed him, he was a photographer, and now he's like not a journalist per se, but the broad term I can use is influencer, but he does more than photography. He styles, he designs.
Yes,
You
yeah,
see.
true. I know. I
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yo, this is heat. No, guys, please, like, when you're putting this on air, just drop a couple photos so that people can see what we're talking about.
It would be nice, but I don't know. Maybe we might get into trouble.
Oh, yeah, copyright.
Yeah, copyright. Yeah. That's
Which
what,
is actually a very interesting thing. I actually wanted to ask you about Panda. Is like, in the photo world, how do things work? Like, if me and you have a photo shoot, and somehow through some way my photo blows up, how do people generate money off of the photos? And also, if something, let's just say, I do blow up off of that photo, how do you actually claim your intellectual property, or how do you?
Well, one way I know it, for example, let's say I take a photo of you,
Yeah.
and I want to publish it. What I do is I copyright it and I publish it.
Okay.
So I go through means to do that, and then I'm going to sell it now. Let's say it's a digital photo.
Wait,
I'll
now,
sell it online.
me as a subject, I have no say in you copywriting that.
I was going to get there.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
before I even release a photo, I give you a form to sign. Ushuguti.
Yeah,
I
so
consent.
those release, yes, I see those release
I
forms.
consent in you allowing this photo to be released and whatnot.
I've done that through video. A lot of guys that have taken videos of me, I know that, but I wasn't sure about photography.
No, it's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Because there's a photographer. There's another photographer. He's a sports photographer, Steve Hug. I don't know if I'm saying it right. He's big on people, like, getting people in line when they use his images.
Yes.
Without it, some people just, like, you find like big media brands, like, media house, news outlets or whatever. They'll just take the image and just use it. They'll even remove the watermark.
If you have a logo,
the watermark that you put there to say this is your work, they remove that and they post a picture. And the guy would, like, retweet and or comment and be like, yo, copyright.
This is my work.
This is my image.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that happening. So that's why I'm...
Yeah, and people aren't shy. And it's very hard to
actually
copyright.
Something that links all three of us here. I don't know if you ever saw that poster of Obama. You know when Obama was running for
The Hope.
campaign? Yes, we can, I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
What was it?
The one...
The one was like a blue, white,
and
red.
Yeah.
So now that's a fame that was done by an artist called Shepard Fairey.
That
Yeah.
Obey
He does the Obey. I don't know if you've ever seen those Obey.
Oh, yeah,
He has like
Apparel.
shirts, apparel,
Yeah,
different
apparel.
things. Yeah, Obey. So he took that image was graphic designed by him he referenced a photo of Obama that was taken by, I think it was the Washington Post or something like that.
Okay.
So it was of him during one of his final speeches before he became the president, when he was still running. And he got sued by
the Washington Post.
this company, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I was about to say, those are one people that you don't want having legal issues
Yeah,
with.
you don't want them on your back.
I mean, he survived that whole case, but like, it's just such a fragile thing. It's like, he was doing something innocent because it's like Obama is now running, and like he just took a portion of this photo and he made it into something new. He illustrated it, which now I think then becomes a new
But then can I ask a
work
question?
of art.
What's the difference when you're done?
Yeah, now it becomes a new work of art. However, because it was also duplicated, was monetized, the T-shirts came out, which obviously it wasn't only him, because people latched onto this design, and he didn't actually attribute himself as the copyright holder of that piece of work, because I think the Obama administration also sent money for him to duplicate and to actually spearhead this campaign.
So
and
he actually got a tender off of that as well.
I don't think he actually made money off of it personally, but he was funded, from what I heard in parts of the story, he was funded to actually because this was gaining traction, he was also funded to keep this thing going. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it went into his pocket or not. I can't say. I
Sure,
don't want to
sure.
be quoted on that. But
Can you imagine that though?
Yo, that's deep.
but you were gonna say, yeah.
Oh, now I was gonna ask, like, what's the difference between referencing something and biting something? How can you differentiate between?
I think the thing though is that biting is a term.
Okay, no, I don't mean biting literally. I mean like
Referencing and copying.
and copying. Yeah.
Yo, it's a difficult one. I think it's different in every different art form, because in music, so to say, I can sample your song
Yeah.
and still give you your credit. And my song can go big and we both benefit.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know that your song was done 80 or whatever in the 80s,
Yeah.
but it's resurfaced now in a different way. It's been modernized now. And I think maybe if I don't give you your credit, this is just musically,
Yeah.
then you're going to sue me, obviously,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
that's copyright infringement and that's intellectual property
But
infringement.
it's easier with music.
Yeah,
With
it
a
is
photo.
easier. Yeah,
That's
that's what I was
different
thinking,
thing.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, he took the photo and he illustrated it.
Yeah.
He
Which-
didn't copy it. Was that a reference or is that a
Yeah,
copy?
it's very difficult to say, man.
And how does this now? Did the Washington Post? Okay, probably they did because press get press passes for that case. Because
Yeah, I don't
think
remember.
that's the-
Yeah, I think it is the Washington Post, but yeah, sorry.
well, I'm just doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Well,
Yeah.
sorry if it's not the Washington Post.
Disclaimer.
We sorry.
Disclaimer. Give 7 fucked up.
The comments expressed in this show are not of that of this show. They are that of the individual.
We are not liable.
The GNPS will be not held liable for any comments expressed by any of the people on the show.
Straight up.
Oh, yes.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Disclaimer part 2.
But moving on. Yeah.
But yeah, now let's say that news publication, obviously they got clearance through because they got the pass whatever that was happening, and they took that picture. But now, shit, I guess if you give the release, you have no say after that. Because if you sign those forms to release the image,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
guess.
you have no say what happens after that.
That's true.
Even if we decide to Photoshop,
Yeah, because I mean, if you sign a release,
to Photoshop the
They're
head
no
and
longer
put
yours.
a cow.
It's just very trippy because, I mean, yeah, Obama was the first black president, and everyone is definitely going to latch onto that.
straight.
But so many photos of Madiba and
yeah.
Dude,
Hector. Okay, let's talk about the
All the
Hector
memes.
Peterson
the,
photo.
no, the memes.
Let's get
the
about
memes,
that.
bro. The memes.
Yes, this
You
could be
could-
some illegal
you
channels
could
going on
sue
with
on
these photos
memes.
and the referencing and the using of photos over and
Yeah.
over.
Because
I mean, there's people who run pages.
Yeah.
Like, they keep pages alive of running memes.
Yeah, yeah.
If my face is on one of those photos, I can literally sue you. Because you're
Defamation
making
of
money.
character.
Because there are people that are making money off of
you,
those
you
channels.
know what's actually funny is that
You
I'm
can
sorry,
actually
I'm
do
throwing
that.
people under the bus here. Well,
you
whatever.
guys, you memers will be held accountable. Get the meme police on him.
Hey.
we need to get the lawyers and just that. Hey, so what if somebody makes a meme out of my picture?
But I think you can. Hey, you can sue them, right?
Yeah, you can.
Because you can sue them under defamation of character.
Yeah.
That's a big one. A lot of people
Or
have
slander.
been caught for. Yeah. But if you do it in a comical way, in a satirical way, you can get away with it. Remember Uzapiro?
Oh yeah.
He used to paint Zuma
Oh
hectically.
yeah.
With the
Over and
the
over.
shower head, yeah. that
and he
was
got
hectic.
away with it because he called it satire.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. And it's also freedom of speech.
Yes, yes.
So I guess then to those guys running those pages now, you can go there on your bio and change and just put that satire.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you can
That might
meme
save
away.
you. Oh, snap.
But like a photo, like a more serious photo, like the Hector Peterson one. Like I've literally seen that photo Like, I don't know who that photographer is, but that's a very iconic and
true.
famous South African photo.
Yeah.
I don't know if a South African took that photo, but, and I don't even know which one is the actual original of that photo.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've seen paintings of it, of the exact same photo.
I probably think maybe, this is just me going on a limb, maybe they probably have the original kept in a museum or in some place. But that's if we are that deep in our
On history and culture.
yeah,
and
well, to even go back and think we should keep this, we should give this guy credit, we should.
But we live in very slippery.
Yeah, it's a slippery
Times.
waters.
You know, you never know. 1 minute you could be posting a picture that gets the most likes, most comments, and next minute, yeah, you're in court
Hey,
trying to explain why you posted that picture in the first place. But no, I'm seriously.
it actually is true, bro.
I'm serious. Like, I mean, even now, I always tell people this. Like, you know, on social media, people just post pictures. I'm like, you can't just be posting, but you also somewhere looking for jobs and stuff like that. Especially in the private sector. I mean, we live in times where, we're constantly giving data on a daily basis. You just
And we don't read disclaimers.
yeah, you don't. Yeah.
We don't know if these apps actually own your photos.
Your
because
data. Yeah.
to think about it, I read this one thing on Instagram, and I could be quoted on this. I don't know if it still exists, but apparently it had something to the effect of any photo that you post onto these free platforms.
Hope I don't choke and die.
Anything,
Banter. That's banter. For people that don't know, that's called banter. I just had to throw that word. You know when you... I'm sorry. Sorry to disturb you. Okay, I'll shut up. Sorry, carry on, Kevin.
the panther. But so I heard to some effect that any photo you post or video you post onto these social media sites now becomes public use, and it also becomes the private use of Instagram in terms of they are now allowed to take this photo if they see fit and use it for their own personal use or their own private use because they're a private company or whatever. So I don't know. What do you think about that, bro? What do you feel about this social media and posting your photos?
I read
because
about
I mean, because you get clients, I'm sure, and they take those photos and put them on Instagram.
And I mean, I choose what photos to put on my page sometimes because that might come back and bite you.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying is right in terms of you can just post whatever you want to post and not care about what if you have to get a job now. Like, what if those photos resurface? And that's true because there's been a case in America where I don't know who, so I'm not gonna name drop any names. There was a
we don't want to. We've said too many names. Yeah.
Disclaimer again. All the views in the show and the opinions
We'll just say
are that of the individual.
an American company.
Yes, that's all. The company
In a company somewhere in the world.
Yes, not from here.
You wanna,
Somewhere.
It was reported that like that company, let's say company A went to company B and asked to use company B's people's data without their consent. And that's a federal law, I think, in America. You can't.
The data privacy. It's a data privacy thing. Yeah.
So that was going on.
Do we have laws here? For tech? We don't
The
have.
thing is, are we even that informed? Do we even know our own laws as South Africans?
like
Intellectual property laws. We
Like-
don't really actually.
yeah, you see things like that.
that's why we miming away. We don't give a shit about it
Until someone gets called out and until somebody gets.
Hey, you have to cut the
Yeah.
axe. Yeah, that's when you know it's tough.
Yeah, and probably someone might just laughing about this intellectual property shit. I'm like, what are these guys even? What's funny? It's like that. That's how bad it is here. But nonetheless, I feel like it's important to educate people to understand these. That's why I'm asking you about all these questions surrounding photography,
Where?
so that you can share some of the information.
Sure.
If you can elaborate more on, I don't know if maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but you, according to your own understanding, as someone who's a creative who has registered intellectual property, you can maybe fill us in on what does intellectual property mean? What are we talking about there? And why is it important for one to know and understand the workings around intellectual property?
From my understanding, I think intellectual property can deal with any data that belongs to you, that is your personal. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Your personal creation?
Like your personal things that are yours. That could be
your ideas.
Your ideas, your photos, your plans, your day-to-day planning. That's what I think it is, from my understanding. As well, I am not as informed as I should be, so I will take the bullet there and say...
Yeah, I mean, it does extend to that, because what if you go to a meeting with, let's just say, a car company or something, and then you discuss ideas, and I've had this before as well, and it's sour grapes on your behalf for not protecting yourself, but essentially, bro, like I've had a case where a client's like, okay, hey, we really love your work, we want you to paint or design this particular wall, a mural for us. And then I'm like, cool. So that's going to go through a process whereby I'm drafting ideas, I'm pulling references, I'm sketching, I'm formulating things, And through those ideas that I formulated, they took that and left me in that phase, but they took my work and delivered it to another artist, and then got that artist to fulfill the work. So maybe in your case, it could be you're a photographer. So in your case, it would be you discuss, what is it called when you, before you shoot, you sort of discuss your angles and your...
Yeah, like we brainstorm and then you go through.
More like a storyboard type of...
Yes, so you could go through a storyboard phase, but then they get a different photographer to literally come and shoot all your, what was storyboarded,
Without having told you prior.
Yeah, exactly.
You commencing the
when
process.
You think you have this, you doing this, Kanji.
Yeah.
Yo, that's deep.
Very
Just
deep.
tighten it there. Pick it up. Push, and then tighten it.
Because I also think intellectual property could also be something like anything that's yours, even your phone. Anything on your phone, is it your intellectual property or is it the people who own the phone? Whose property?
That's deep.
Well, yeah, that's... well, I'll answer you. It's not yours.
Yeah.
It's not... Stop thinking that shit on your phone is yours. It's not yours. Every app that you sign up for, trust me, they got that nice long...
disclaimer for you.
Disclaimer.
That small print
which you don't want to read. You just look for agree to all.
Where's the accept button?
Exactly. I accept terms and conditions.
That's when you give away shit on your phone.
That's true.
And not only just you're not only giving out shit surrounding that app or info around that app, but you're giving them access to say, let's go see your emails. Let's go see your text messages.
Exactly. And
let's tap into your microphone and listen to you and what you're talking about. And 5 minutes later, voila, what you know, there's an advert because you guys were talking about PS4
coding. Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you think that they have microphones in our phones and they are just listening to us the whole time?
No, well, not just listening. They can listen whenever they want.
Yeah, okay, whenever they want. Yeah,
that's what it's for. It obviously, I don't know. Maybe they do.
You know what was the trip as well? Is that?
But like now, you don't have. Sorry.
Oh, no, Karen.
You don't need a man to sit and listen to everyone. You got AI, my nigga.
Yeah, I don't trust AI, guys.
And all you have to do is say a
Artificial
certain word
Yes.
Aye.
or type
Shit.
something on
What-
Google, or
I'm telling you.
then
They
everything
got-
that's filtered
They
through
got a
these
machine.
words.
They're
Yeah.
just sitting there listening to you. You can just,
Collecting all your
there's
data.
a folder. They collect everything.
Mm.
Well, I don't know who's they. I'm just.
Yeah, yeah.
saying.
The
Those
man upstairs
It's just my
behind the
pronoun.
curtain.
It's just my pronoun. I don't know who's they, so don't ask me who's they. Figure it out.
You know, have you guys ever watched The Wizard of Oz?
I actually haven't.
I used to.
There's a moment in The Wizard of Oz where they uncover the guy behind the curtain. It's crazy, and he's the guy that's like, he's running the smoke
running the
machine.
show.
He's running the this whole devil thing or whatever. And they like, someone just peels a curtain. One of these guys is like, hey, what's behind this curtain? It's like, hey, it's this guy, bro. And he just like gets up off the bike and he just dashes. And it's like, how?
He's gone.
It's literally the guy behind the curtain, bro.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings.
It's the same
So,
thing.
yeah.
It's like one of those Scooby-Doo episodes.
Yeah. Even in
Let's
the
see who the monster
Even
is.
in the Matrix, they had it in one of the last Matrix. They reach
the
the guy that's been like watching him the whole time. But not to deviate, what were we actually?
We're talking about people
The,
listening.
the AI, the
Yes,
AI and
AI,
stuff. Yeah.
AI.
Oh,
The-
can I ask a question? Sorry,
Yeah.
Tupa.
No, yeah.
Spoke to a friend of mine after watching the movie Lucy. You've seen the movie Lucy?
Yeah,
Shit, that's
about
a-
those
that's a nice movie.
that limitless tablet, not tablets. It's like a formula that they.
Yeah, and it's a girl.
a drug, yeah,
She-
yeah.
She transcends.
She's an AI. So we were speaking and we were like, to make an AI, you can't just make one from what you think an AI might be. To make an AI, it needs, I don't know how to put this, it needs the components of a brain. It needs to work like a brain. It can't be manufactured.
Yeah, AI. It's a machine. Well,
But now,
I might be wrong.
Mhm.
It's a machine
yes.
that can learn, that has the ability to learn. Doesn't necessarily have a brain,
No, yes, facts.
but it can learn. Like you can, okay, for instance, this is how they do this, ne? How you use your phone. So they got this thing where they can monitor which app do you go to frequently,
most, yeah.
which one do you use, and
Oh,
AI can learn that sequence, and therefore then it can give you a chart and tell you how much time you spend here.
So like an algorithm.
So based off of that, then it can go further, and then it can look every individual app, like this is your interaction on that app. So it learns that pattern. So it knows more or less what you want to see because it can see what you're looking at.
Okay.
So over time, you more or less the AI can let you see what you want to see. I don't know if you understand.
I understand.
Yes,
I
it's
understand.
So when you go in your timeline, it's like it's gonna be gonna show you posts that
that are
relate
relevant
to you.
Yeah, it's sort of it's sort
So
of
it learns.
like social media. Yeah.
So
It's like,
AI works like that for
Okay,
now.
that just answered my
that's
question.
mainly algorithms, or what it
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's algorithms.
It
Because I
uses-
wanted to
It
ask.
uses an algorithm to learn. It's
because
called-
these
it's
apps
called
only ever
deep-
change the
deep machine
algorithms. They
learning
don't
or
Yeah.
change the actual face of the app. They just change.
how the system works. The
And like, I read some stuff that what they do is in a photo, they have certain points. So a photo, let's just say it's just a selfie. It'll have a certain point. It'll pick up a point in the background. So like, let's say you have the beach in the background. You have like sand, and then it'll pick up points on you. So whether you had glasses on, whether you had your location on, or whether you had used hashtags. Because one thing I knew when I started traveling and I was using AirAsia a lot, I don't follow AirAsia on Instagram. But immediately the adverts that were coming up were Air Asia adverts.
Those
I was
those
getting
sponsored
advertised.
adverts.
Hey, those sponsored
Yo,
ones.
and even Airbnb, they started showing me Airbnb,
snap.
and they started showing me travel
Travel
sponsored
destinations.
ads, and I
Yeah.
was like, I kept like saying like, don't show me this ad.
That's
Don't
a-
show me
that's
this ad.
AI.
Algorithms. That's
That's all.
algorithms. Straight up.
AI and the algorithms, yeah.
Because I want to go to my next question now. I know it's based from a movie, but you see, Lucy, she's a robot,
Yeah,
but she can channel emotions and she has memories.
yeah.
How does that work for a robot?
See,
That's my main thing that just
that's
hits
the
me.
thing. That's the thing. The emotion part.
Yes, the emotion.
That's why.
How does AI
That's
get
why
emotion?
I'm like, okay, fine. AI is gonna be powerful, whatever.
Mm.
And some people believe it's gonna supersede us, but for me, I don't think so, because I feel like in order to supersede human beings, you need that human element.
Yeah, exactly.
The
But then
only
again,
thing-
wait,
the only
but
thing
no.
that can wipe out human beings is a human being. That's why would
But
people
who, can
build
I ask, who
nuclear
knows,
I
weapons?
think-
who
I
knows
think
what
what
an
they could-
AI thinks like?
I think what they could
If
catch
they
us
do.
on is organization. We inventing super organized machines when we can't organize ourselves. So imagine that we creating. If somehow we teach this robot to create itself, to recreate itself,
Yeah.
it's gonna recreate itself more advanced and more organized, and we aren't developing at that pace and that capability. We have the ability to do anything,
You're right.
Dude.
but then if we creating something that can advance quicker than us, that's
It's
gonna
it's
become a
gonna take
problem.
us.
Because now, like, let's just look at technology
gonna
as
leave us
an
behind.
example. Technology is an extension of everything we can do, or what we've thought we can do
What
as
we
human
wanted to
time.
do. Yeah.
So a car is an extension of traveling at higher speeds and being able to surpass time and to break some of those time barriers. Like a plane, now you can be in many time zones in one day, or you
Yeah.
can defy that sort of law. If we look at cell phones, it's defying the law of connectivity.
Yeah.
Because now you can be
You can be
you
away
can
from home,
cross
but
communicate
can
with many
contact
people,
anyone.
and you know what I mean. So I feel with these AI things, we really have to be careful.
Yeah.
We really
I'm worried
do have
about
to
the
be careful.
AIs.
no,
I don't trust
don't
them.
worry, don't worry.
Uti, don't worry.
Sophia might just
No, listen.
haunt you.
Listen, I hear you, Kevin, and you're absolutely right. But at the end of the day, AI still needs human input.
Of course.
That'll be the case throughout its entire existence. So my thought to that, or that in mind, is that if AI gets to a point where it's too advanced for us, or it's more advanced than us, it'll know. It'll know who does it need.
Yeah. I hear you. It won't need us anymore because
No. It'll forever need us. We created it.
if it's too advanced for us, how will
There's still a lot of the one thing that has brought AI to life is our desire to have it alive, to have it part of our lives, so to say.
Okay, yes, I hear you.
If that desire is no longer there, trust me, AI is gonna step aside.
Do you think that desire will come though? That we won't need
That
AI.
no, we won't. But we'll just keep advancing it. Like everything that we've ever done, we've always advanced it. And well, not always. There's still things that we as Africans that we're not advancing, that needs advancing ASAP. Especially now, since we're talking about AI. I was speaking to a friend of mine today in training. I was asking him, okay, tech is moving so fast. We have AI. What's artificial intelligence? NgesiZulu, NgesiXhosa, NgesiVenda, NgesiTswana, NgesiSotho, NgesiSwahili.
Dude,
What is the internet? NgesiZulu.
The internet.
Angiyazi. What's a camera? NgesiZulu.
Ikamed. No,
Yeah.
I think they actually the camera.
No, they have a word for a camera.
Well, I know the radios, umsakazo,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
like
TV,
TV. There's
mabonakude,
also
yeah.
someone. Yeah.
Like, and there's names. We can't use one name for
True, yeah.
everything because I'll show you this. What's in is storing as
Indab.
exactly in that. If ngithi mina okay, tune in to the GNPS and ubona indaba ka Panda. Someone can easily say, "Is ngena phi indabeni ka Panda," because that's how we speak. That's how we use the language.
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
then
yeah.
tells you,
Ngena
yo,
phi
you need another word.
Yeah.
You
To
need
make it
another
more
word
like
to
yeah.
make it
to
make
differentiate,
sense and to
yeah.
be direct. Like,
Ngena phi indaba.
you know.
Mm.
So, so we need to.
Wow.
So like times, everything else is moving. We're getting excited. Even a podcast, in podcasting is Zulu. I feel like naming it right now.
Xoxa kwinda.
You know, because that's
Yeah.
we gotta look at it that way. Everything is advancing, but
Our language.
our language, where is it?
Yeah. And who, this is a very random question to answer and a hard one to answer. Who now, because I think we are trying in a way with slang. Slang is a new way of new words coming about.
Thought.
Yeah,
It's
it's
taught.
slang. See, my problem with slang is that
It's not proper, it's not traditional.
Our languages are diluted.
That's facts.
Going down rather than up.
Like, it's
But-
okay. It's okay. Now it's okay with closer to use English words and add syllables like isha, nyaranisha, nyapekisha.
Nyagoisha.
Yeah, exactly. That's not right.
No, fam. No.
Literally, you know, for people like that, they'll say
We
that
lazy. It's like these niggas are lazy. We live in times where we got rights to name shit. How many people know about that? Because no one has taken time to name these things. Yet we're doing all these things. What's graffitiing is Zulu,
shit. Can I ask?
Yo.
Bab.
Bafu.
Our Ngoni writer, right here next to us.
Yeah.
Ngibona ngakhatha la njalo. I actually don't know. That's an interesting.
Graffiti.
What is yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna go research this shit.
we need to catch up, man. We need to catch up instead of
graphics.
Graphics.
Slibesbanga, we like, okay, the Xhosas are doing the most for the country. No, the Xhosas are not doing anything because by Isha.
Was one pulling here? Was
You know?
on her breakisha, bro?
The Zulus, okay, right, Nyashayana, they tell Ndugu, what, and Pedelwa. You say, yini internet ngesiZulu. The day you tell me that, then you
But-
can use your phone. Otherwise, stop using your phone because it's
God, the way we are so diluted today, like you said, go Nabasele to teach us these things. We need someone who is transitioning from the olden times to the new
Who's the
time.
official?
No.
Who's the official authority? Okay, let's just say right now we look at the English dictionary. That's run by Oxford, right?
Yeah.
So Oxford is now appointed to. They are the authority, so to say, quote unquote. Obviously, they can be challenged, but they are sort of seen as the authority in the English language. The Oxford universities they are now running the international dictionary. So when a new word comes out, they add 10 words a year.
Yeah, I mean, dictionaries.
Who is in charge of that?
Who's the
Lanak.
official authority of the Nguni languages and the
That's
African
what
We,
we need.
I'll
That's what
have
we
an
need.
answer. We, the people. Who speaks the language?
But we
But
have
Manje,
books,
if you
but
want
in
to
the book-
officiate,
Yeah,
it,
so that
what
now
do
it
we
can
do?
be put into
Yes.
all. It can be put into hospitals. It can be put into schools. It can be put.
Listen, gents. The dictionary. No one. You mean to say before the dictionary, people were. everyone-
Kalogo, the times were different back then.
No, that's how it happens. See,
No, I'm not disagreeing, but
no,
carry on.
That's where we get it wrong. We always like to say no, but then awukupat. This is how it's done. We speak the language, so we are the innovators. We akekho umunye umuntu ozophuma from another country, from uzovuka emgodini aphuma azositshela or It's okay, internet, fanele ibize ngokuthi. Cha.
Ithi.
We are responsible.
Eh.
If your kids or your grandkids one day are still calling the internet, it's your fault. That's on you.
Okay, to counter that, I think the only way we can do that is to make our own Oxford.
When-
Nguni Oxford, if
Never
that
mind
makes
the
sense.
Oxford.
I'm
when
not-
we're speaking, it starts from speaking.
But it has to be.
Ukhuluma.
But like I understand your point, and I agree fully about it. It starts from
They also
speaking,
have to
but
be written down.
yeah, like the writing is so important because even the translation now. Because remember, if Panda now comes from the southern part of KZN, I come from the eastern part of KZN. Remember, in our tribes, there's something called King's Zulu, right? And King's, and that is so to say the most official, because it's spoken by the king, and it's spoken in the homeland of the king. So that's sort of say the purest form. However, though, when it comes to writing, we are now trying to understand the modern world from our perspective. The king maybe doesn't use this technology. We can't wait on him though.
Yeah.
Yes,
Definitely.
But also, we can't let things become too wayward that everybody's just inventing something, because then there's no actual official
What this
dialect that we're all going to use when it comes to the professional workspace. So if I am working on a computer, the computer doesn't have the Zulu language installed in it right now. It's got
Yes.
French, it's got English,
And
everything.
Sotho-
But now it also needs
Sotho,
something so that it can...
isiXhosa, isiVenda, isiTswana, isiNdebele, isiSwati.
Yeah.
Those don't exist here. Why?
Even if you go on
Because
Google
we
now,
exist.
there's like the translations are still like very broken.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at is that through things like the dictionary, it enables things like computers to now process these things so that if you are typing in your Zulu keyboard, it'll be able to give you those little accents that you need. It'll be able to correct you, auto-correct you. It'll be able to also now also guess ahead of time what you're trying to say. As when you're typing a word in English, it's going to try and fill that word in for you and then maybe give you that meaning for that word. So I feel that having this in some sort of, I don't know, what is the Oxford Dictionary? It's like a education.
In a written form.
Yeah, like in a written official form that the world is going to now recognize. Because if someone from Poland or somewhere comes and is like, yes, I want to start speaking some Zulu. I need to write my, he took some photos of, he had a trip in Africa and now he needs to tell the African people what he saw and how he saw this. How is he going to explain that without any official
documentation?
So here's a challenge that I want to throw out to aspiring and writers who are out there who write in our Nguni languages. Please sit down. You know yourselves. Hell, come on, holla at me, holla at
Showcase,
us,
come
any
through,
of
guys.
us. I mean, we can bring you on a platform like this, and we talk about these things, and we know what's up, so we can get the wheels rolling. Because we cannot, we do a lot of, we point out mistakes, we point out or where we lacking. Like, it's time to start doing, Obviously,
Yes,
thing of waiting for someone from somewhere, it's clearly not working for us, so it's time for us to change that. So all the writers, if you're out there, you consider yourself a writer. Whether you published or not,
Talking to you.
as long as you are informed on the various Nguni languages, tell us, come tell us, share with us where we're sitting or what are the ideas. If you are working on something, you can come tell the rest of the country that you need help because this is what you're doing. The reason why we have to do these things is because this is how we're going to bring our communities together or advance our communities, especially in the times that we live in. It's katak dalala ukuthi izinto ezabelungu and all those kind of things. Nathi, it's time to have our own
Our
things.
own shit.
There should be things that abelungu abathe into abantu abamnyama that's positive. We always surrounded with, if there's crime, it's like into abantu abamnyama. You know, there's laziness into abantu abamnyama. All those negative things. It's time to change those stereotypes.
Most definitely.
That's so true, bruh. That's
And-
quite true.
And
Sorry.
oh, just to add on that, you know, and to add a question at that is, have you ever worked with like a closer photographer or someone who,
Yeah, actually, I have.
yeah, and how were you guys like explaining your ideas? Was it through?
Yo, it's a lot of mixing.
Yeah,
I won't lie, there's a lot of mixing.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, the commands were probably in your own language.
Yeah, like we speak everything is close up, but then
When it comes to
the technicalities, like
Yeah.
in China, can't the lens, because we don't know what a lens is.
Exactly.
Go up, but you don't know what it is. So we just substitute with English.
I say the people that are practicing in those spaces, that's you guys need to trigger. Like
Okay, no, I
him,
get where
he
he's
needs to
going.
go
Okay.
down and sit
Yes.
down and think, with yo, what can we call graffiti? If he can go to isiXhosa, because we are as isiXhosa, he can start thinking about that as well. Rather, gube similar in our languages than having to say a computer.
Yeah.
You know, I'd
most
rather have I'd rather as umzulu or umvenda have igama lesixhosa engizolisebenzisa. Yeah, I don't know if you understand.
I hear what you're saying.
You know.
and that actually goes to another point, because when you are in the professional workspace and you're getting hired, you're usually being hired on your level of competence, being able to understand fundamental parts of language and those subjects that are related to that language. So if in my let's just say in my job field, if I need an assistant artist, or if I need someone who's going to work hand in hand with this concept, they have to understand certain things. And if they don't have that vocabulary, they just won't actually understand what needs
Yeah,
to be done and
that's
how
so
it needs to be done. And that actually goes back to, if you look at all the job lines that a lot of black people are given, it's like, you're given security guard
Basic
because it's like,
jobs.
what's okata?
You don't need to
Like,
say
you know,
much.
like, you don't have to say much. Like umuntu uzombhalisa iphepha uzomsayinisa la masefika esangweni. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You can.
That person's going to
communicate
understand that in English and in Zulu. So when it becomes like a science-related matter, how are you just going to hire the guy in the hood that maybe is an emerging scientist, but he does not understand chemistry, the language of chemistry, does not understand the language of biology, but you know he can do it.
Absolutely.
So now it also plays in part in like our own inventions. Possibly we couldn't explain those things. And then that got taken, and then someone was like, okay, we're going to learn how to explain this thing to everyone. And then once they explained it,
It becomes
owned it.
theirs.
Yo, imagine.
that is so
That's
crazy.
how-
And I just thought of
that's
that
how it
right now.
works.
And I was like, whoa.
That is the biggest trick in the world.
Wow.
Imagine that. You could invent, literally, you could invent a rock and you realize that it rolls. But whatever the case.
But
None.
explain it. What causes it?
Dude.
And how are you going to teach people this same thing? Because they say, you know, they always use that saying, reinventing the wheel. The wheel is literally that important because the circle is like, we base literally everything in life around the circle. Every
That's true.
technology has some circle or some triangular.
Yeah.
And everything is complete in the circle.
In a
In
circle.
school, what are the first like 4 shapes you know? It's a circle, a square,
Square,
triangle,
triangle,
rectangle. What are those? It's Xhosa, it's Zulu.
Yo,
Ngantathu, indingiliza. What's
yiyo manyano kanye.
yeah, manyana.
Yo, kawuziphinde dog.
Circle is indingiliza.
Makes sense in Dingili.
Triangle ngantathu because it's 3 sides.
Yeah.
And then the square, shit, what was it called? I don't want to say bogies, but that's still
But it could
still
work.
from
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
But a lot of languages are stolen from each other, so
Yeah.
we can't.
But like
really-
exactly, even you're right. The language is very important. It is very important.
It's like I feel like that's one of the main things that stops us from getting a lot of high-profile jobs. It's not because people
Yeah.
can't do
it's
things.
the language barrier.
It's
bro.
just that you can't explain, like, a person who owns a huge mining corporation, like, he's just gonna tell you to go and dig because you don't understand, like,
The types of soil.
the language of raw
rocks.
minerals and
Dog.
and depth and volume and space and you know what I mean, like magnetism and all of these things, and like I feel that's what kind of leaves us behind. And
Dust. Yeah.
you know, Asian people know how to explain these things to each other.
in
In their
Mandarin.
language too,
Yeah,
which is also crazy.
when they invent something, it's like the name has to go with it.
Now,
It's like you late. If you invent something and you don't name it, it's late. Yeah.
Somebody else comes and names it for you.
Gone.
and they take it
Yeah.
because they gave it a name.
I want to get into something else. Yo,
Okay.
shit, very chowing time. Tiny 10 minutes. 10 minutes, real quick. What's your take on spirituality and mental, the importance of a healthy mental state, so to say?
That's the most important thing when it comes to life and your life and others around you. Is if you have a healthy mental state, then if you have a healthy mental state, then your body will follow. A healthy mind is a healthy body. That's what I believe.
How do you maintain a healthy mind and a healthy body?
Okay, some of this may sound corny. I meditate when I wake up. I
It's
do
not corny, bro. It's the right thing.
actually, yeah. I do stretches. I want to do yoga.
What's stopping you?
Nothing. Literally. The only
So
thing
when-
stopping me is probably me researching how to do certain poses. And then I can do it. Because that's another thing, is what's stopping you. What is actually stopping you from standing up and going go do it? That's another mental health shandies. Is a mental block. Is sometimes people will see something and they won't even attempt it because they think they can't do it. Rather than you can just try to do it and see where it goes. For example, with my photography, I didn't even think I'd be where I am right now. I was just trying it out, and my mental state was like, hey, this thing is cool. You like this thing, so carry on. So, hey, it makes you happy. If it makes you happy, why must you stop? So, yeah. But too much happiness is a bad thing. No, too much of a good thing is a bad thing, not too much
I
happiness.
was about to
Yeah, no. Be happy, guys. Yes.
So
But also, yeah, there's a myth around the happiness of that everything should be done for happiness, which I don't believe in.
Explain that myth.
Like, I believe that, okay, I'll take my own life into account, is that through a lot of my hardships and overcoming that and being uncomfortable, I've actually explored new ways, or I've explored new dynamics within myself. And then that has led me to happiness, but not necessarily always doing things that make you happy. I feel that is the myth among society right now, is that, if you gotta cut someone off because they don't have your happiness at heart,
Oh, that's the worst.
or they
dog.
don't, or you know, like you're doing everything. If it doesn't make you happy, don't do it.
People
like, yo,
today throw things away like it's nothing.
like, yo, we're gonna go to work. If it were up to humans, you wouldn't really budge.
Yeah.
You'd wanna go, walk up and go and walk in a forest or whatever. That's not necessarily doing things based upon happiness. It's not like,
Yeah, true.
you know. So going back to the spirituality thing, I think, you know, spirituality isn't really actually about being. I personally think it's about being content.
Ah, damn it, you used my word. I was going to say that.
what's content in Zulu? Let's pause.
Oh, no, you can find a word. Contentment.
Ukhululekile.
Yeah,
No,
ukhuleka, like,
ukhululeka.
Umoya, alright. Okay, alright is around.
Alright.
Umoya uvumile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think
That's very important. That's very important to be content.
Content and be aware of your surroundings. Be
awareness.
Be within,
That's
yeah.
another important, yeah.
You have to be aware, bro.
And another most important thing, you need to, people, like when it comes, if someone might ask you, how do I become content? And you need to understand that your life is not of any physical aesthetics.
Yes.
It's not bound by any physical aesthetics. So physical aesthetics starts anywhere from your clothes going outward.
Yes, yes.
So anything else from your clothes
going
outward doesn't matter.
Aibali.
What matters is starting behind your clothes going inwards.
Deeper.
So the people should find joy there than from their clothes going out. That's what I normally like try and share with people. Because when you do that, you are always enough for yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So
you literally don't need
that means you escape lack of confidence, which is a very important thing in society that people suffer from. Lack of confidence, self-esteem. Suddenly you think that people are looking down on you when they're not. It could be a lack of confidence. Because whereas me with the mindset that I have, that everything that matters is from behind my clothes going within. If somebody has something negative to say, instead of me having a negative reaction, I accept it. Because sometimes in life there will be negativity and you need to accept it. You don't need to counter all
and
negative.
challenge it. Yeah.
You don't even have to change it or do anything about it.
Yeah,
but you can be aware.
That's why I got this lovely piece here.
What does it say?
It says refrain from negative energy. Refrain from engaging negative energy with negative energy.
Yes.
So whenever somebody projects negative shit on you, you need to do the opposite of that. So if I come at you on some, yo, Kevin, on trailer, you should be like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry, dog. Instead of saying, yo, what the fuck did you
Throwing
say?
it back at him, yeah. Because
that's how you win in life. That's how you win. Because when you come at me with that type of energy, you're not expecting me to be like, yo, dude, I'm sorry.
I'm content. Oh, okay, had it, bro.
I'm sorry.
They don't know how to act.
I don't do that just because I want to please you. I do that because I want to keep negative shit away from you. So you play a smarter game. It's like, because that it'll always happen in life. Someone will cut in front of you. Instead of, what the fuck you doing?
Just be like, okay.
They're like, okay, it's cool. Let them stay there. You don't know what you're avoiding.
Yes, that's the
there's
big
something
one.
about
That's
time. In life, we all got our own clocks. Do you know that if we were born on the same day, all three of us, same time, and we both start our clocks at the same time, at 12 o'clock, both sticks, or all three sticks, if you have a 3-stick clock, they're at 12 o'clock and we press start. Oh yeah, arms of time. Thank you, Tiny. Arms of the clock.
Ooh, yeah.
If we start those 3 clocks at the same time, by the time we are 20, the ticks won't be
exactly the same.
Yes,
exactly.
Can I tell you a funny reason why that is?
Yeah.
But this is more physics than anything. Einstein said time is relative. So that means that time moves different at different places.
Yes.
And to where you are.
And to where you are. Yeah.
It's pretty. Which goes back to it.
Yeah. One guy? Yeah, Einstein. Oh, hey, I call you some bits.
Don't mind him.
I had it, bro.
Don't mind him. Which goes back to explain what you were trying to explain to Kevin, that he's existing in different times.
In different. Oh yeah, that's what I said before we started this thing. Oh, that's a different topic. I was like, did you know that everyone sees you differently? No two people can see you the same. Like no two people think the exact same thing of you.
And no one can see you how you see yourself.
And no one sees you how you see yourself. So right now, there's 5 of us. There's 5 different Kevins, including yourself, which is pretty crazy.
There's 5 perceptions of me, including myself perceiving myself. Yeah.
So everyone who's seeing you perceives you in a different way.
So,
I think,
so it's pointless to worry about what people see.
or think,
Literally.
because you actually can't.
You can't change.
You can't make facts out of that, because if everybody looks out of a window, I'm seeing a tree, you seeing a squirrel, you seeing the grass, another person seeing the car,
the sky.
There's
and
so many
that
things.
we may have all seen the same picture happening: the squirrel running on the tree, the car driving past. But you see it something else. You see the car driving past, then you see the squirrel, and then the tree moving. I see the tree, then I see the squirrel, then I see the car, and it's the same picture that happened. That was the actual reality.
But there's different perceptions of
But
how
the
it happens.
perception of it.
And life is like that. Life is like that. That's why it's important to understand. Like, that's why with this whole negative energy thing, when somebody comes at you with you sometimes come at people with negative energy, not intentionally, but because that's the way life is going for you, and you expect people to understand that, or not, maybe not, but like, you know, you're not doing that because you're intentionally seeking negative energy, but that happens.
True.
But if everyone was in consideration that, we don't see life the same way. We may see it at the same time, but what we make of it or how we perceive it is not the same.
Yeah.
So you need to. So therefore, you must take into consideration that other people are seeing life in their
in their own way.
And that goes back to who wrote this book? Was it Paulo Coelho?
Must
The
be.
4 agreements.
Yeah.
And the one
Okay, I
agreement
haven't-
is don't take things personally.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
And it really goes back, and that's a good way to expand on not taking things personally. Yeah, straight up, guys.
Wow. Yeah. We gotta wrap it up. Panda keeping us on the mic,
Keeping us real, no one's in twos.
bro. It's been eye-opening having you on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today.
I can come back anytime.
Today. The
No
door
way.
is always open. Once
No
you're
way.
inside here, the door is open for you to come back, bro.
No way, for sure. Shout out, bro.
It's been a great episode to have you.
No way.
By the way, I'll go back because I still remember. Maybe this might tick you for people that don't know. Oh, I'm on this camera now.
What is he saying?
I know I called you a fashion designer. I was just fucking with you.
Oh. But hey, you might foresee the future, man.
Exactly. You were an artist after all.
Fashion
Yes,
photographer.
yes.
Fashion designer.
But yeah,
is an
fashion
artist.
photography, I wanna like get that shit going. I love
See?
that.
But
anyway.
anyway, that's a compliment to your physical aesthetics.
Oh, thank you so much. But even though I don't
Shout
attach
out.
anything to the physical. Ay, spiritual. Ay,
So where can people find you if they want to book you, work with you?
You can
speak to the
find
camera.
me. Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at I am King Panda. My number is, I'm joking. You can find my numbers once you hit me up. Email is mbadi933@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Hey.
What else can they book you for? Do you like? Are you a pool boy? Or anything?
I make jokes sometimes.
Just book them for a good time.
Yeah, Kevin did tell us. You did mention that you went to party with Kevin.
Oh no, that was my old
Yeah,
life.
Kevin, wait. Your turn.
Man, I'm at Kev7.
There's your camera.
Oh. My camera's gone though. I'm joking. Yeah, I'm at Kev7. And yeah, thanks for a great show. And yeah, tune in next time, guys.
Yeah. It's been real. It's your boy General Giniela. On Twitter, it's at General_Gini. On Instagram, it's at General_Giniela. Shout out to the boys behind the camera, holding it down, Tiny and Kay. Man, it's been real. Catch us next time. Peace.
Shout out.